You guys remember when I did fights? Yeah, we're going to that again. So today we're going to be talking about a really fun fight. AKA, who would win in a fight? The world's most insecure man, Regulus Corneas from ReZero, or the world's most insecure TV demon, Vox. I don't know, I couldn't think of anything better to say. So in a confrontational fight between these two, who would win? Now, first, let's go over both of these characters and why I'm putting them against each other in a fight to begin with. Honestly, I don't have to explain myself because I put Megumin versus the Costco guys, but you know what, I'll be fair. Vox and Regulus are both people who use their power and force their power to basically make people like them. Regulus forces women that he likes to be his wives, so he has a false sense of security that people care about him. So he doesn't feel like he's alone, when in reality he is.
I will not end up alone. Darling wives, how can you see me ending up all alone while giggling and saying that I deserve it?
And Vox uses his hypnotism to make everybody worship him because he wants to be seen as a god. Meanwhile, it's all false, and nobody actually cares about them, which we see at the end of Hazbin Hotel Season 2. That is mostly why I put these two characters against each other. Regulus doesn't necessarily have a god complex as much as Vox does, but both characters are very insecure and clearly very much just want attention from other people. And also, they both rely on others for help, as Regulus's entire power relies on his wives. Now, let's get into talking about some of these characters' strengths and abilities and who I think would win. First, let's talk about Vox. Now, Vox shows a lot of different interesting abilities and interesting arsenals in his toolkit that he can use against Regulus. First and foremost, his most effective method of attack, in my opinion, would be his tentacle-like wires that he can pull out of his back. He can use them to wrap around people, electrocute people, break through things, as well as just having a lot of accessibility. He also has his hypnotism powers, which also could help in situations. He's also incredibly fast, like fast as lightning, as we see he can zip around, using his lightning powers or whatever the heck you want to call it. We also know that Vox can essentially combine all this electric energy into one place and essentially crash down or crash into things like a lightning bolt. As we see in his fight against Alistair in episode 4, he creates a crater about as tall or as deep as Vox, and Vox is around 7 feet tall, meaning you'd need a lot of force to create a crater that deep. Vox also has his demon form, of course. So his demon form is another thing, but that's just like Vox powered up. So Vox's main power is electrokinesis, and if I'm missing a power, feel free to yell at me in the comments. Well, now that we're done going over Vox's power, let's talk about Regulus, because this is where things get very interesting. Now, Regulus is the Sin Archbishop of Greed, and he has a witch factor to do so, and it gives him two abilities. His first one, and most important one, is Lionheart, which essentially is the ultimate defense and ultimate offense. Essentially what it does is it freezes all time within his body, meaning he doesn't have to breathe or eat, and he doesn't age. Furthermore, it makes his body and himself entirely unaffected by all the laws of space and all physical things and non-physical things, and he's just immune to essentially all the laws of physics and just everything in general. He's immune to essentially, like I said, everything in the universe. You can splash him with water, he won't get wet. You can send an attack at him, and he won't take any damage. You can try to mind control him, and it still won't work because he is not affected by the laws of the world, or any other world for that matter. But this also applies to his attacks. So even a character with excellent defense does not matter whatsoever because Regulus can just pass through it. He can essentially freeze the time on other things. We see in Season 3, he freezes the time on a large body of water and then climbs up onto the top of a building, holding up this large body of water, and then sending it down like raining bullets on them, which would instantly tear your flesh apart. So he essentially can freeze things and then send it at you like speeding bullets that are impossible to be blocked because those attacks are also immune to all laws and the world itself, yet they can still hit you. We see in Season 2 when he does this to Pandora, reducing her to ash. He also easily takes off Cruce's arm without any trouble. He is incredibly powerful. And this has one tiny weakness. His other ability, Little Kingdom. Now, we know Regulus has 50 wives, and essentially what this ability allows him to do is he's able to put his heart in another wife's body. So essentially, it would grant him full immunity as well as a safeguard. Because here's the thing. Normally, Lion's heart only works for around 5 seconds, and it has a cooldown afterward. But he circumvents this using his wives. By placing his heart in another person's body, he essentially makes it so he can use this ability infinitely and also has a protection. You have no way of actually being able to kill Regulus without killing his wives, but most characters wouldn't even pick up on that detail nor realize. Now, Vox does have one failsafe, and that's the fact that since he's a demon in the Helliverse, he can only be killed by angelic weapons. But you have to think all of Regulus's attacks can bypass the laws of the world in the universe, which would mean that theoretically, since its attacks are anomalies, essentially what would happen is it would still do enough damage to Vox. Now let's see how a battle between them would go. Now, if you ask me, the two would meet each other, and Regulus would just start yapping about how Vox violated his rights. Now, both characters are D1 yappers, and they're going to be yapping to each other. Both characters are incredibly insecure and are going to be wanting each other up constantly. And Regulus is going to be pissing off Vox, and Vox is going to be pissing off Regulus. But here's the thing. Vox is going to try to attack Regulus and realize that nothing is working. Vox, being the crybaby he is, he's going to start crashing out, and he'll lose all focus. At that point, there will be no possible way that Vox would ever even get close to figuring out anything about Regulus's wives. Now, Regulus is someone who just goes around killing people. He normally gives them warnings. Like with Cruce, he just rips off her arm, and with Subaru, he rips off his leg. Not actually killing. He doesn't often go for the kill. But if Vox pisses off Regulus enough, I could totally see Regulus just absolutely vaporizing Vox. And even if you want to make an argument for Vox that possibly, maybe he could go, find out the secret of the wives. At this point, Regulus's yapping would have just ticked Vox off so much, he would be way too angry and have absolutely no focus to the point where it wouldn't even matter. And that is exactly why I think Regulus not only beats Vox, but could one-shot him and destroy him instantly. Now, it's very out of character for Regulus to just instantly kill someone, and I'm assuming you'd give Vox some warnings, but I'm assuming Vox, being the person he is, would try to lift himself up by putting Regulus down. Regulus would have enough of that and would just end Vox. That is how I think a battle between them would go. If you see any flaws within my points, feel free to pull it out in the comments, if anyone does bother commenting. I have been the Dino Gamer 556. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see any more content, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.